I think that the craziness of Arthur Conan Doyle is a good segue to our last speaker.
Why, thank you.
And just for my own behalf, I want to say that one of the wonderful things about helping to organize an event like this is all the great people, the wonderful people that you get to meet. Chip Denman, who is a founding member of the National Capital Area Skeptics Association, is our last speaker, and will tell us about what he has to say.
Yes, I will. Well, thank you. Like many of you, I have a math background, and like many of you, it was Martin's columns in Scientific American that set me on that path that led to my career in mathematics and mathematical statistics. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about another way in which he influenced me to a second calling, if you will. When I was an undergraduate, a senior, and a math major at Cornell University, I was in charge of wrangling the talent to come give talks to the undergraduate math club. And one time, I had been fairly impressed with the probability instructor that I had that year, and I asked him if he would please come give a talk to our group, and he very graciously agreed. I expected a talk on combinatorics or probability puzzles or something like that. That's not what he did. Instead, he gave a talk on ESP research. And he started that talk with bringing out a little homemade device that looked something like this. And he told us that this was a psychic motor that was being investigated in parapsychology labs across the country. Now, this was the mid-'70s. It was the time when spoonbenders and would-be psychics like Uri Geller were making the media circuit, or circus, if you will, and people were interested in this. I was interested in this. Even I was a young college student. I was fascinated by this. I was interested both as a scientist, a budding scientist, and also as an amateur magician. I'd become fascinated with the way people could be fooled very easily and be led down the wrong path, no matter how smart they are. So this was a great talk for me. And so my instructor, David Griffith, came out, set up this device. He cupped his hands around it to channel the energy. And after a little while, I don't know if we have enough time, but after a little while, you can see my psychic energy gets this thing moving. Okay? So he went on in the talk to talk about the history of parapsychological research. He talked about J.B. Rhine, the professor at Duke University, who tried to bring at least some level of statistical rigor to testing ESP-type claims in the laboratory by having people try to, among other things, guess cards from a shuffled deck. He worked with someone to develop a special deck of cards we now call the Zinner deck, the ones with the circle, the square, the plus sign, the wavy lines, all that good stuff. So that was part of this talk. He talked a little bit about parapsychology in the modern day. He brought it up through the Gansfield experiments that were being done in the 70s.